Together we banished the ignorance of old night. But you betrayed me. You betrayed us all. You stole power from the gods and lied to your sons. Mankind has only one chance to prosper. If you will not seize it, then I will! So let it be war!
Hello and welcome to another reaction stream. This time we're going to be covering an oldie but a goodie, Maggie May Fish. And being our resident Breaking Bad fan, let's start off with Raptor in the top hat.
What's that? You tell me.
Hola, everyone.
I feel like that was appropriate. Yeah.
Indeed.
Yeah. We've got a few people in the back, so we gotta bring some people out. So I think I'll bring in Trip first.
You're going to burn in a very special level of hell. A level they reserve for child molesters and people who talk at the theater.
Well, I'm sure that was funny and probably something that would make me yell at you, but for some reason, I can't hear the clips.
Yeah, it's you're going to burn in a special level of hell, the kind they reserve for child molesters and people who talk at the theater.
Aren't I doing that already?
No, you just frequently say that to us.
Uh-huh.
Don't worry, the scene was not spoiled aspiring. Speaking of which, let's bring him in.
House rules, Sammy. Driver picks the music. Shotgun shuts his cake hole.
I think you objectively did by showing it to me, so fuck off. And
You have no idea
yes,
what it is. Well, that's edited. It's not the exact clip.
okay, thank you then.
Yeah, it was.
And yes,
Yeah.
Firefly, good show. And we have a special thing happening. This hasn't happened in a long time. We have a new person to torture. And by torture, I mean introduce to Dunn.
Indeed. So let's bring in Ness.
Everything they said was true.
Yeah, that one's pretty accurate.
Yep. I've been told that I have been giving her propaganda and lies, and so we're here for her to see the truth for herself.
In what way exactly?
You don't need to know. Just be yourself.
That's not helping, ADO.
No. That's not supposed to help. It's just supposed to be fair.
So basically, it's just that I'm the king of cringe.
I'm not telling you what she has or hasn't heard. Just be yourself and let her decide on her own.
For fuck's sake, dude. Come on.
What? Isn't that why we're all here? Or at least the majority of us.
Just you and me, I think. I'm also kind of interested in the actual debunking the American dream because I've never watched Breaking Bad and I don't care if I get spoiled. So.
Okay. All right.
Indeed, only 3 of us here have completely watched Breaking Bad.
True.
If I play drop-in comeback games, it might be because I'm not sure when you play the video I'll be able to hear it.
Okay. Let's take a chat. Let's check. All right. Let's do it. Welcome, Maggie.
Can you hear? Can you hear me?
Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't see you there. Welcome to Films
Well,
and Conversation.
Now I'm
where we
wondering,
take a
I
look
was
at
thinking
TV
I should say,
media
oh
and
yay, I
discuss
can
their
hear
meaning
it, but
in conversation.
maybe it'd be better if I
Today we'll
couldn't.
be discussing a little film called
It might
Punch
be.
the Card and an obscure American TV show called Breaking Bad.
You might just want to
Fair
read the
warning,
subtitles.
today's program is a bit on the serious side. It contains intense imagery and discussions of serious topics of the day. So I recommend that you pop in a Werther's original treat. By the end of the video, it'll still be hard and tasteless.
You know, I intended to pop in,
Did
intending to leave.
Mm-mm.
He kind of reminds me of the main antagonist from Stephen King's Misery. Set up. Trying to look all cozy and cute, but you just know that something very vile is building up.
And you know that there's like a psychopath hiding underneath.
Yeah.
Yeah, she
Kathy
has
Bates.
those eyes.
Yeah,
She
you
has
know.
that everything. Everything about her.
Yeah, but she's picking on Werther's caramels right off the bat. What the hell?
She's
They're
an
only-
awful human.
They're only tasteless if you eat way too many of them.
That goes with
All
everything.
right.
Breaking Bad's not obscure. The one that lives under a rock here knows about it.
I think she was being coy or being a bit comedic with it.
Facetious. Yeah.
Facetious, yeah.
Okay, I want to know who can read. What books does she have on her bookshelf?
She has.
Who can
who
speak?
speak?
The body in pain.
Oh,
So
yeah.
this is how she learned to make her videos.
You have the Haraway Reader. What the hell is that?
What the hell is
Screenwriter
that?
book ×2 by the looks of it.
The
I don't know what the
screenwriters.
other side field is.
Yeah.
Writing the romantic comedy.
Oh God.
The film club.
She has a Peter Walden. Is that?
She has 2 Reader Digest book thingies as well. I'd recognize those anywhere.
Oh, wait, we have one on the other side, too.
Oh,
We can barely read those.
It just says they've Dark Forces. I
yeah,
don't
that's
know what
Dark
that-
Forces. It's another Reader's Digest book.
Hmm.
Basically,
Star
when
Wars
they
Dark
do these
Forces.
Digest books, they just crammed 3 books together in kind of like a mismatch, and then shipped them out. My grandfather had a lot of them, and they were really fun to read when I was out at the cabin.
Alrighty, well, we have learned something new about Maggie May. I wonder how many of those White gave her.
Oh no.
And she's got
Probably-
paisleys on her sweater. Why do you use paisleys?
Oh no! I just realized that's not caramel she's eating. That's white.
Oh!
It's white flavored lembas spread.
Oh no!
Oh my god! Oh my god!
Oh,
He's eating white scales. The white scales produce the white lembas bread.
you're so lost, Ness, but trust me, you're better lost.
No,
And the lore grows.
no. Raptor, explain the joke of
No!
the flavored lembas spread.
Okay.
You were there
Ness,
when we,
first of all, how old are you?
Over 18, we're good.
Okay.
I can't
Okay.
even.
Okay, so the white lembas bread was introduced, well, specifically the time we're referring to, was introduced in John Boorman's absurd depiction of Lord of the Rings. So much so that when you consume this lembas bread, you taste whatever it is you're thinking. And there was a scene where I think it was Pippin or Merry was eating the lembas bread and thinking of Galadriel.
Oh no!
Yeah.
Yes, so the lore is that lembas bread now tastes like Galadriel's cum.
I mean, I don't think I'd mind that as much, but oh no.
Wait, what?
And when we say white, we mean another member of Kai's server who the lore now is that Maggie Mayfish is his wife.
And eating him.
Oh no.
Some people drain the life out of their husbands through taking away their wills and ability to enjoy life. She just eats him along with that.
Yep. She does so figuratively and literally.
And
Yes.
here I'm trying to make my girlfriend enjoy life and not drain the life out of her.
Some
Well,
people
maybe
are
you
nice,
need
some people
to-
aren't me.
Maybe you need to eat her more, Ness.
I try. She doesn't let me.
Oh, that's so wrong! What is wrong with her?
I know.
You
I
think
mean,
she'd
she is
enjoy
the
the
top.
mop more?
Why? The mop's my hair.
And?
She's not going to eat my hair. That goes down your throat and it's stringy and you just can't get it out.
Why did you go to that? You could just use it to clean up.
Okay, now this is getting just way too weird.
Let's just start
Yeah.
going. No. I'm not doing that.
You guys sound like an adorable couple, Neffs.
Shut up.
That's some good
He was
American
talking about
manufacturing.
Ness and her girlfriend.
You don't even know that for certain, Dunn. It's true, but you haven't even seen it.
The American desert, the Wild West.
What
the
the hell
lands
is
outside of
Punishment
America,
Park?
within America.
It
A
is
symbol
a
of our
movie.
grandest dream.
It's basically the Hunger Games, but for convicts.
So it's a separate entity.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Yep.
It's not something later on in Breaking Bad that I haven't come across yet. Okay.
She's juxtaposing two completely unrelated things because she has horrific apophenia.
Yeah. And I might just bail after the Breaking Bad segment because I can only endure Maggie for so long.
Fair enough.
I think we should do that as well, since I don't know anything about
Dreams
punishment.
of
Park.
rushing gold and overnight success. A manifestation of both the open frontier waiting to be exploited by capitalism and the barren emptiness that capitalism leaves in its wake. And no show portrays the American desert better than Breaking Bad. It feels wild to go back and watch the show now. It aired nearly a decade before the demand for free universal health care became a nationwide movement. Before we had a leader whose selfish acts were hidden under the guise of caring about the little guy. Before white nationalism shamelessly reemerged into the limelight. Before we really had
What
to
the
talk
fuck?
about toxic fandoms and audiences stepping over boundaries.
What the
and
fuck?
yet, because of all these things,
Yes. Like, I did not watch Breaking Bad and think this, and I watched it after all this shit happened.
Okay, what the fuck?
Yeah.
I'm talking
It's really
about her
odd.
analysis. What the fuck?
It's really odd. It's really odd how she's trying to phrase this phrase Breaking Bad in a stage like, oh, it's demonstrating like, oh, why white people are bad, even though Gus Fring, someone from Chile, is one of the main villains of the entire show. And it's not like, oh, like all this, and it's not like, oh, all these like of these like drug businesses were occurring like after Walter White entered the fray. Like they were still going on. It was just him being introduced to a new world. That's why it's known as a bit more of a character arc in his behalf. This new criminal world that's already been there shapes him to eventually become the main villain by the end of the show to an extent.
He ends up being a
Lord.
major player in something that already exists. He basically
Yeah.
transforms and upends it multiple times.
Yeah, but maybe she thinks that because his name is Walter White, it's referring to like how white people are awful or something.
No, that's
Wow.
just lazy naming.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, with Maggie May Fish, anything is possible.
I think she's mainly referring to it as basically, oh, this show was prophetic for its time. White nationalism is one of the main bad guys of this show. White nationalism is one of my main antagonists now, so it works.
Yeah. Yeah,
I mean,
but
common sense is one of her arch enemies, so
yeah,
everything's basically her enemy.
yeah. Gus Fring's existence puts a wrench in that whole ideology.
Well, hi, Latvian Dragon. How's it going? Which reminds me. Well, let's keep going.
shamelessly reemerged into the limelight. Before we really had to talk about toxic fandoms and audiences stepping over boundaries. And yet, because of all these things, Breaking Bad, unfortunately, feels more relevant than ever. It's the story of a corrupt
Why,
authority figure
unfortunately?
who forces his patriarchal dominance on everyone around him. It's the story of Walt's pressure on Jesse to conform in a way that benefits Walt, while he claims that everything he does is for Jesse's own good. But to talk about Breaking Bad, I first want to talk about a film that, to me, is its spiritual predecessor. Another film about the American desert. Punishment Park is a film by Peter Watkins, released.
So, I would disagree with every single one of her points about Walter White.
Agreed. And also, Breaking Bad is more than just Walter White exerting his patriarchal influence on other people. Rather, it's demonstrating how any human being can be fallible, and how if we are not mindful of our decisions in the long term and the consequences that those decisions will yield, then we will eventually become essentially like a far worse version of ourselves. And this is a motif that is not only delivered through Walter White, but also to a lesser extent Marie, Jesse, Skylar.
I think very much through Jesse, because
like Jesse is not a victim that he's becomes more of a victim in the later seasons, but to an extent, a lot of it is because of his own doing. He's not as sympathetic as a lot of people try to make him out to be, even though a lot of things don't go his way. He's still a bad person.
I think it's because he tries to leave when things get fucked up and keeps getting pulled back in because of fucking Walt.
Yeah, but I'm mostly
Several
referring to
times.
instances like in season 3, where he's a bit more active and trying to exert, essentially just trying to do his own thing in regards to selling methamphetamine, which in turn will, of course, damage other people that are in a very similar boat to he is.
Mm-hmm. Well, here's the thing about talking about a show like this is that the characters evolve drastically throughout the entirety of the show. They become very different people in several different points. So trying to do a broad blanket doesn't really work.
Yeah.
And here are my only exposures through the memes.
Fair enough.
Released in 1971. Watkins is a British filmmaker who was fearless in his attempts to dig into the cultural and political realities of his time. I mentioned Watkins before, specifically his concept of the monoform in my video on Fight Club. Watkins began his career
which was awful. That was so bad. Her Fight Club video was so bad. It was awful. It was so stupid.
You're talking about a Maggie Mayfish video, we know.
Yeah.
pseudo-documentary film The War Game, made in 1965 as a realistic depiction of nuclear war.
This little boy has received severe retinal burns from an explosion 27 miles away.
It was so provocative that the BBC tried to squash the film, believing that it would scare people because it was too horrific for the medium of broadcasting, which, considering that the world was on the brink of nuclear war, was kind of the point. At the time, the supposedly independent BBC claimed that the censorship was not directed by the British government, but decades later, declassified cabinet papers revealed that BBC Director General Sir Hugh Carleton-Greene suggested that if the government decided to not show the film, he himself would be prepared to put out a press release to the effect that the BBC had taken the decision alone. That was exactly what did occur in November 1965. Watkins didn't let the BBC's dishonesty stop him. In fact, it only made him more resolute. In 1971, Punishment Park was Watkins' diagnosis of America. Before there was the Hunger Games, before there was Battle Royale, before PUBG, there was Punishment Park. The story is framed as a documentary with Peter Watkins behind the camera, playing a British journalist on location at El Mirage Dry Lake in California.
Yeah, I don't play it, but even I know how it's fucking pronounced.
Just because going PUBG means ugh.
To answer the comment you put up, he's like evil. We kind of see him as evil because he's a like
posturer.
He's worse than what you would normally consider a good person, I guess you would say. Like he is more willing to do dangerous things and hurt people, but he is like a drop in a bucket compared to the people around him in that business. And he clearly shows he isn't capable of becoming more dangerous, or well, he can be, but he hates it. It tears him up inside.
And he does have a very big redeeming quality, which is to never involve children, which is ultimately derived by the fact that he is actually glad that his younger brother is actually excelling better than he did. So he has a big soft, because he essentially views every small kid as like his little brother, in a sense.
Mm.
He has
there
a
used
bit
to
of a
be-
good heart.
There used to be a drug problem in the school I lived near, where they would
Oh.
like search kids' backpacks and find drugs.
Yeah,
And it
about
wasn't the drugs that got the community pissed; it was the fucking people that used the kids for the drugs, because it was an
Yeah.
elementary
Mhm.
school.
Oh.
Yeah.
Then the biker gangs went and drove those people out of town.
Ooh, nice.
Good for them.
California. The film takes place in an alternate 1970, although not that different from reality, in which President Nixon has declared a state of emergency over the anti-Vietnam War movement. While the events of the film are fictional, the opening quotes a real law that is still on the books in the United States, called the Perion Internal Security Act of 1950, which authorizes federal authorities to detain persons
as to whom there is reasonable ground to believe probably will engage in certain future acts of sabotage.
The story follows two groups
kids.
of prisoners. Group 637, who have already
Well,
been
like,
tried,
the
convicted, and
connective
sentenced to
tissue
participate
between
in the Punishment
this
Park game,
film
and Group
and
638,
Breaking
whose
Bad
trial
is
just
so
about to begin.
loose that
The
they might
narrative
as well
cuts
just
back
be
and
two
forth between the
separate
two
videos.
groups, highlighting the hypocrisy and
Mhm.
brutality of a militarized American justice system. In the tent, we meet Group 638, feminists, civil rights protesters, communists, draft dodgers, and artists. They're interrogated by a panel of right-wing politicians and leaders of the conservative community. If convicted, which is a given from the outset, they're offered a choice: spend years sentenced to federal prison or 3 days in Punishment Park. A Punishment Park game involves trudging 53 miles through the desert on foot with no food or water, pursued by police and the military. The goal? Within 3 days, you must reach the American flag, an ironic symbol of freedom always just out of reach across the oppressive desert wasteland.
You must evade capture by the pursuing law enforcement officers and reach the flag by the appointed time. Your capture or your failure to complete the course within a given limit of time will result in the reversion to your penal sentence.
3 days in the desert. 3 days to evade the authorities and make it to the American flag. 3 days to die in the desert, unable to ever reach that mirage of American exceptionalism and freedom. If only Walter White had admitted to himself sooner that what he was after was a mirage. Punishment Park, like Breaking Bad,
What?
feels so relevant.
That's not the point of anything with Walter White. What he
Only
wanted
one-
wasn't.
Oh, yeah, all Walter White wanted was to be the very best at something, because that in turn demonstrated his self-agency over his life, and that's what he obtained.
Yeah, he achieves his goals. Granted,
Yeah,
he
his
loses.
realization. Yeah, and even by the end of even by the finale, he immediately states that like he's truthful with himself and realizes that like, yeah, I didn't do it for you guys, I did it for me, and he didn't want, and he was so comfortable with his lifestyle that even though he was at rock bottom, he was still willing to die as this not necessarily redeemed person, but mostly someone who fully understands who he is, rather than being a better person, because this is all he really wanted to be. Like, what was the mirage in that?
He achieved his goals. All of them.
I don't think
achieved
she
all of
watched
it.
this whole thing.
She's using clips from Ozymandias, which is the second to last episode in the series. Well, the third to last episode, technically. Yeah.
No, we've got to die. And if we do win, we're gonna wreck this fucking establishment and we're gonna wreck this fucking game.
While the tribunals and Punishment Park are supposedly carried out in the name of justice and the betterment of American society, over the course of the film, the system's real motivations
This
become
is
painful.
satire. Why are you taking this seriously?
She's being satirical.
No,
He doesn't
I'm saying that
understand
clearly. I'm saying that clearly Punishment Park is satire. It's like freaking Starship Troopers. It's so ridiculous that it would never happen.
Yeah. And she was so naive and blinded by her own worldview that satire just completely went over her head. Because she unironically thinks that the American government did something like this during the 1960s.
Who knows what point she's trying to make?
I honestly don't know.
We're
I think
6
it's-
minutes in.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is an awful introductory of what your video is supposed to be.
Yeah.
Fully clear to eliminate any progressive activists in American politics and violently.
Communism is not progressive.
Yeah.
You would like communism very much, Maggie, because they would toss you out into the street because you're a rich white woman.
Oh,
I know
wow.
Am I incorrect?
You're not fully correct. I don't think they'd toss her out into the street. They'd just toss her into a basement.
That works too.
They just
And just lock her up, be a breeder.
Yeah, true.
Reinforce the
Reader?
status quo. And as an added bonus,
Why the
to
fuck
provide
would you want
training
her
for
to
the U.S.
change
military and law enforcement personnel. Even when the prisoners play by the rules and reach the flag, they find out the hard way that the entire game is a sham. Over and over, we hear law enforcement and the committee blame the entire scenario on the prisoners.
These next 3 days will be only as violent as you want them to be. Your capture, should that occur, will be as peaceful as you want it to be.
It's just, it's difficult. We sit there, we try and give them a chance to have a fair say, but they just don't seem to appreciate
This is
it.
meant to be a dark comedy.
You think they deserve that flag?
The tribunal is set up to arbitrarily decide who is American and who is anti-American.
They don't understand what's going on in this country. The national emergency. They have no idea, no loyalty, no understanding.
The authorities construct a reality that feels upside down. The people in power shift morality back and forth, a tactic that keeps their victims continually off balance.
We want to hear your
You
message.
don't want to hear
We
my
caught some
message.
of
You
it.
spent 50 years evolving a propaganda system that'll take the truth and change it into what you want to hear.
You can't come to an agreement with authority because the
Not right
authority
now.
spends their time accusing you of being disagreeable.
Yo, you want to go shopping? Go do it yourself, all right? I got plans. Smoking marijuana, eating Cheetos, and masturbating do not constitute plans in my... Whatever you think's a...
Okay, that's calling out most teenage boys right there.
He just has
I mean,
Right,
a lot
yeah.
of adult guys have work too.
If Dunn weren't Mormon.
I wouldn't smoke marijuana if I were Mormon. I hate that stink.
Yeah, it really does reek.
Yeah, but not really anymore. They're edibles.
Still wouldn't eat it.
Yes, I am well aware.
Yes, you outside of a culture that currently makes you dislike it, that alternate you wouldn't have it.
Nope. I would have taken a health class and said, nope, not doing it.
Indeed. I have seen people wrecked by weed.
Yeah. And also, like, he just has is
You
ignoring.
can't come to an agreement with authority because the authority spends their time accusing you of being disagreeable.
Yo, you want to go shopping? Go do it yourself, all right? I got plans. Smoking marijuana, eating Cheetos, and masturbating do not constitute plans in my book.
That's because Walter White knows Jesse extremely well. Him
Yeah.
going to an art gallery is out of character in a massive way because he fell in love with Jessica Jones.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and he knows that, like, yeah, by this point of the series, he was now properly employed by Gus Fring, or at least they have a quota to meet, but has a very strict deadline in order to become future employees, and he wants to work his best in order to get as much methamphetamine produced so they can properly sell. So it'll make a lot of sense. That's why he clearly states that, okay, you should not do these very unprofessional things that may destroy our chances at actually getting a proper employer and distributor. Like,
I'm not sure if that's actually the timeline.
pardon?
I remember when their first job was incredibly rushed and passed out. Jesse.
Pardon?
You keep cutting out there.
Based on my understanding, I believe that this is the point where they have struck out on their own.
Yeah, I don't believe they're hired by Gus Fring yet, because I remember their first job with that was last minute, rushed, and Jesse was passed the fuck out.
Oh, I thought this was the beginning of the 4 Days Out episode, though, which took place after they were introduced with. Oh wait, no, 4 Days Out took place before they met Gus. My bad. Yeah.
Yeah, Gus and the girlfriend don't overlap much.
It's supposed to happen. The exact reverse opposite of that is going to happen.
One of the cruel mind games that the tribunal plays on the prisoners in Punishment Park is promising that they'll find water along the route.
This group have been told that they will find water halfway to the American flag.
They promised us water at the other end. Some water boxes.
But that too is a mirage.
Try to make it to the flag. Hell, we're gonna make it somewhere. We don't know what.
It's not a mirage. It's just fake.
While a lack of water is a constant theme in Punishment Park, the presence of water can be just as ominous. Swimming pools are a powerful visual motif throughout Breaking Bad, a symbol of middle-class America, an artificial body of water, a man-made display of wealth and aspiration in an otherwise unforgiving desert. Water as blue as the meth itself. It seems like a cool relief, but just as quickly you can fall in and drown. The pool in Walt's backyard is an ever-waiting pit, ready to swallow him along with his family. One of my favorite moments in this pool is when Skylar walks into the water. She decides to join Walt and help launder his money. A perverse baptism,
Symbolism
submerging
behind
herself in crystal blue water. She chooses the mirage of a happy family, drowning any hope of saving her family from Walt. Another pool, what first seems like an oasis in Gus's...
No, what the I'm pretty sure that was one, a cry for help, and two, to get the kids out. Like,
yeah.
She manipulated Walt because she basically made herself look suicidal
Mm-hmm.
to make the kids get out of the house.
Yeah, because at that point she was utterly paranoid because she now realized what her husband was capable of. And also, the symbolism behind water in Breaking Bad is very different from the symbolism of water in Punishment Park. Like, they're like complete opposites, but because they're opposites, Meg McFish has this thinks that, oh, it must be a connective tissue between the two. Like, oh, water in Breaking Bad refers to death, even though, and water in Punishment Park refers to, or the lack of water in Punishment Park refers to life. Like, there's no connective tissue there, Maggie McFish.
Yeah.
Like I said, she has apophenia. She is crazy.
Yes. Hey, Harrowspeed, nice to see you. Welcome to
Like,
our panel.
these are complete opposite statements. Water in Breaking Bad is death. Lack of water in Punishment Park is death. Like,
what are the dots connecting in her head?
Even the stupid thing she said doesn't make sense because she called it a baptism. This is her basically going against Walt's wishes. It is a method to manipulate him. It is not her agreeing to help him. That came before.
Yeah.
That's already happened.
yeah, Skylar, under her own self-agency, willingly chose to make it seem like she was suicidal and chose to get into that pool.
That's not a baptism.
Walter
That's
had
her
no. Walter didn't have any direct influence over that. It was
he didn't
indirect.
like it. He knew
Yeah.
exactly what she was doing.
Yeah.
Ugh.
Like I said, she is crazy.
We know
Yeah.
this.
Flashbacks quickly turn into a nightmare. The calm, glassy water ends up stained with the blood of Gus's partner. And it's by the same poolside years later that Gus enacts his revenge, poisoning Don Eladio, then washing his own hands of guilt in the bathroom. Over and over, when people and things plunge into the water in Breaking Bad, it's accompanied by death, either literally or figuratively. Instead of an oasis, these bodies of water are actually death traps. Breaking Bad and Punishment Park play with inverted symbolism like this constantly. Instead of life, water becomes a symbol of death. Instead of the protector, a father figure places everyone in harm's way. Instead of resolving violence and injustice, the people in power only perpetuate violence and injustice.
Yeah, Mr.
These are way too vague.
The culmination of Jesse's arc is that final, beautiful shot of Jesse screaming and crying, speeding down the road, finally free. This is the final shot of Jesse in
what's
this
really
series
funny
because that
is
freedom
that
is exactly what
you
Walter
could
denies him
apply,
throughout the series. Walt belittles and manipulates Jesse to keep Jesse under his control.
Actually, this is stupid.
Every time Jesse tries to assert his own power or independence,
That is a very terrible example, Maggie, because Jesse just did something legitimately stupid.
Yeah, like
Yeah.
like Walter was justified in saying that, saying that he was incompetent.
What was
That
this
is-
one he called him an idiot for again?
At this point,
stealing an RV, stealing the RV.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
From the park that it was in. He just bringing it next to Walter's house.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because Jesse obviously had no idea if Skylar or anybody that was close to Walt was already in the house. Luckily for him, they weren't. But Walter was terrified because obviously he knew that Jesse had no idea if his wife or children were present. Yet he showed up anyway.
Mm-hmm.
Which could easily expose this whole ordeal between him and Walter.
Mm-hmm.
And also, I like the stigma that Magma Fish provides. Like, the entities that are supposed to like protect you, or in reality are against you, which is something so vague that you can apply it to her own ideology and the things that she believes in, and provide concrete examples for that. But obviously, she's not going to bring that up because that's not going to align to the narrative that she wants to present, and saying that like, no, it's only exclusive to the American dream and nothing else. Like, bruh.
Also, there's the problem of Jesse's kind of an idiot.
Yeah.
This
example has no relevance to her claim.
I'm so tempted to see how would she react if you just placed her in any other part of the world. How would she survive?
She'd probably yell at people and say it'd be the biggest Karen who ever existed.
Yeah, best case scenario for her would be successfully forming a cult.
She's already done that, so...
Yeah, but if you put her in a different place in the world, I'm saying that would be the best case scenario for her if you want to like survive like a few months.
I mean, she could pretend to like be kind and all and fake and use the kindness of strangers, but
She would not do that.
Here's the thing, I don't think she is smart enough to do anything intentionally to help her survival.
Yeah,
it has to be a stance.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
I mean, if a female Charles Manson exists, I'm pretty sure she could be the next replacement.
ooh.
Yeah, sounds about right.
We are
All right, let's continue.
10 minutes into the video and 38 minutes into the stream. What the how fucking long is this gonna take?
Oh, you sweet summer
Well,
child.
sabotages his chances.
I
and then
did
places
speed
them
it
on
up
forever.
I did speed it up to 1.25 since she speaks kind of slowly, so
Yeah, she really
Blame
does.
on Jesse.
You left me to freak out all day long, like I dropped the ball or something, and you're the one who took it. Shut up.
Creating a cycle of abuse where Walt is both Jesse's only ally and the one dragging him into more and more dangerous situations. The most heartbreaking example of
But
this
the
is that
thing
scene
is,
that we
at
all
this
know very
point, they
well.
kind of do
when
that
Walt
to
sees
each
Jane
other,
dying of
like-
an overdose and does
Yeah.
nothing. Jesse was
They
about
both
to
fuck
run
each
away
other
with
up.
her. He was about to leave Walt. He was about to start a new life
Also,
with Jane.
yeah, pause.
He finally
Wait,
found
but
the thing
the
that
chick
Walt
that plays
always
Jessica
promised him,
Jones.
happiness. But because
that's
Yeah.
what I say. You fell in love with Jessica Jones.
Yeah. Also, he actually does get other allies in several points in the series, her being one of them. He actually does have some supportive figures, Gus Fring being one of them.
Yeah.
Huh.
Yeah, it's not just Walt.
Yeah. Walt has to on numerous occasions fuck Jesse over.
Mm-hmm.
So it's not like he has no supportive figures. It's just he does get some, but Walt ends up somehow ruining it. You can't even blame Jesse for half of them.
Yeah, but I think it ultimately boils down to the fact that he knows Jesse more than anybody else. So he knows how he thinks a bit more, and he knows how to manipulate him more effectively because of that.
To be fair, Walt manages to manipulate many people besides just Jesse.
Well, yeah, but the people he manages to manipulate the most effectively are ones that he knows the most.
More or less.
So is she basically just trying to say that the American dream is a mirage?
Yep.
And
Yeah.
using these two properties to demonstrate that or something. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, it seems like that's the thesis that she's trying to run away with.
Okay, the American dream is kind of a mirage, but she is going about it and reasoning it the wrong way.
Well,
American
my
dream is
thought
really
simply
vague.
is sorry, Raptor.
I'd say that the American dream is really vague. As the years go by, that it isn't as concrete as it once was.
Well, my actual thought was, okay, can you make a video about something that isn't the obvious?
That's impossible. Maggie's not competent enough to do that.
Well, that's just what my thought was. So, okay. Anyways, move along, because, yeah.
Because that relationship didn't serve Walt, because Jesse was acting of his own will instead of what best served Walt. He had to destroy it. And afterwards, Walt continued.
You have removed a lot of context to make that work, madam.
Like, my God, Maggie.
Is she projecting?
Yeah, probably.
He's outright lying as to what happened there.
Mr. Raptor, please explain why this lady is a bold-faced liar.
Okay, one, Walter didn't intend to kill Jane. Like, that was completely accidental. Like, yeah, it would be convenient if Jane was out of the picture because she would blackmail him if he ever got in between her and Jesse. But ultimately, she presents it as if because Jane is an inconvenience, Walter just walked into her into her apartment and killed her, which is not the case directly.
He started vomiting and he didn't flip her over.
He didn't flip her over. And his action, which was to try to wake Jesse up, indirectly moved Jane onto her back, causing her to choke on her own vomit.
And I think even in the end of the season, Walt's first intuition is not normally to kill his stuff unless it's like a direct threat.
For the first 2 seasons.
Even later on, he gets more willing, but I think even for something like Jesse's girlfriend, he would do a different thing besides killing first. Like that would be a last resort.
Like ideally, if he had a plan to get Jane out of the picture, it would not be killing her.
It would be he would try a few other things first. He would not want to kill her off the bat. He very rarely opens with that. It's telling of his character when his immediate response is kill.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So, yeah, Maggie, you're a liar. Get off the internet.
Yeah, I realize why she brought in Breaking Bad into this, because she knows that barely anybody knows about Punishment Park. But you could tell that most of the script work was dedicated to Punishment Park, and she's now trying to confine Breaking Bad into the image that Punishment Park has formed. And it is really bad, and it shows.
So basically, she's just trying to clickbait.
Yep, pretty much.
Yes.
Breaking Bad. If you remove Breaking Bad, then there would be no her main thesis and essay would not be changed in the slightest.
Yeah. The funniest thing about this is there's so many people saying she's brilliant, which is hilarious.
He probably gets rid of all the comments that say the exact opposite.
I'm not even sure if she'd go to the effort.
I don't think so. She actually responded to one of my comments.
Oh.
I think, Raptor, kindly remember, this is a person that exists. This isn't like an AI-generated character. This is a real person who's this retarded. And very likely there's others like her who just haven't decided to do the audacity of coming onto the internet and making all of us suffer.
Yeah.
Basically, true lie. There's idiots like her who probably watch her. I can believe it.
Yeah, so For reference, this is my my comment on her video for Kidman Cruise and Scientology. I just said, thank you for your consideration for the Smudcast length restrictions. We appreciate you continuing to give us a case study in apophenia and otherwise insane content to respond to that is within a reasonable length. Our response is, it's pretty wild that you only get one life, and this is how you've chosen to spend your precious minutes. But I guess if you don't have friends or family who love you, staring at my hot mug and seething with jealous rage is as close as anyone will let you get to them. So power to you.
Wow.
What the fuck?
A hot mug.
woman
Well,
is
she's
pretty
certainly
cray.
confident. Yes.
So
See,
I would not
Jill.
agree. She does not delete comments. This is the evidence of that. She just responds in a really stupid way.
It's a shame you get only one life. It's a shame you got one life as well, Maggie.
Yeah, I did respond.
I can see that.
Disc, assumptions. No need to lower yourself to playground and insults based on a lack of information. I thought you would love that. So yes, I am being exceptionally condescending, but I don't care.
Not just that, you're outright lying.
That too. I'm just making assessments based on your consistent patterns and your contents. Jealous rage? Nah. Why would we hate you? Just because we think you have apophenia and are somewhat crazy doesn't mean we hate you. It just makes you far more entertaining to get mad at. Or too entertaining to get mad at. At least I don't get mad. I just laughed. Wisp, our German trans woman, gets angry at you fairly consistently. Smud, the Canadian, is just amazed at the strange things you say. And Hawk, our resident Brit, frequently calls you names. We just love listening to your nonsense, and we appreciate you giving us content for the monthly Maggie My Fish stream. Besides, 3 to 4 hours a month is a reasonable amount of time, but everything's relative, I suppose. And it's always nice to have background noise. You know, how long do you think it takes? Considering how much Smudboy makes off of you in ad revenue and super chats, gotta space out the amount of videos to respond to you. We wouldn't want you to run dry prematurely. Which is why I'm happy to comment and engage with you, because I want you to make more videos. It's some of the best unintentional comedy. And it seems like your input is spreading to PSA Sitch. It won't be long until your senpai Mauler notices you, and you get featured on EFAP.
Which, as I know, has not happened.
What the
I believe that they have actually agreed to it as of, yeah.
Anniversary stream, I'm guessing.
Possibly. I know PSA Sitch was begging Mahler to do it.
Oh, wait, what? You're talking EFAP. Never mind.
Yeah.
No, it's just that I saw Mahler on Friday Night Tights.
Yeah. That was... I don't think she deletes comments. I don't... That's just my perception of this situation.
I think she would have to be a little bit more self-aware to delete comments.
Oh yeah, that is true. Like, I don't like she doesn't come off as insecure. She just comes off as insane. Like she's overtly confident in these statements.
I think she has some insecurities, probably. I just don't think she's not like putting on a face. This is just her insanity, and she thinks she's being okay.
Yeah.
Come up in my recommended once, and I was just like, "That looks like clickbait. Don't recommend channel."
Based.
All right.
And afterwards, Walt continually blames Jesse for her death in order to manipulate him.
All right, just drop the whole concerned dad thing and tell me the truth. Just tell me you don't give a shit about me, and it's either this or you'll kill me the same way you killed Mike.
Just as Jesse was trying to find a way out.
That is a blatant misrepresentation of that scene, even based on the clip that you showed us.
Mm-hmm.
Bloody hell.
From under Walt's control, the activists in Punishment Park are searching for an alternative to a traditionally violent and racist American society.
I am not immoral, Mrs. Jerkins.
You want to know what's immoral? War
Yeah,
is
the Breaking
immoral.
Bad things
Poverty
add
is
nothing
immoral.
to her argument. They're just filler. If you cut them all out, you would understand the main nonsensical thesis that she's trying to deliver.
That is true.
She only included it because she knew not a lot of people knew about Punishment Park, but her apophenia kicked in and realized, oh, look at all these connections in Breaking Bad. I would try to insert that and generate a little bit more ad revenue.
Well, I also get the sense that she likes Punishment Park and the preaching that it does.
Yeah.
Yes.
It does not
Even
like
though-
Breaking Bad.
Yeah, especially since it looks pretty ridiculous.
It is.
Like, it looks like it's Starship Troopers levels of parody ridiculousness.
Yeah.
It doesn't seem to be something that takes itself seriously, no.
Racism is immoral. Police brutality is immoral.
Despite their obvious prejudice, the Committee in Punishment Park frames themselves as the source of morality, because they can. When their public defender attempts to cite laws and precedent, his motions are summarily denied.
Motion for dismissal at this time. Dismissal on what grounds? First, Fourth, Fifth, and 14th Amendments. Motion overruled.
You don't overrule the Constitution,
Defense.
This is a parody. Like, this is not, like, Punishment Park is clearly ridiculous.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I think it's
overruling
just extreme. It's extreme satire.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not saying necessarily that I disagree with the message that it's putting out there, but
No one watches this
it's
and thinks
very, it's exceedingly preachy, but anyways.
Yeah.
Still.
Keep the defendant silent.
When the prisoners do question the methods and motives of the system, these questions are deflected, ignored, or ridiculed.
Who's getting killed by the guns that I hear go off? Who's died? Who's dead? That was sitting right here. Do you know? Do you care? Don't you dare, lady. Don't you
No
dare
question
kill
about
me.
this girl being a definite communist threat to this nation.
You're not allowed to question the system, but the system will question young people who dare to fight against fascism, an unjust war, or a racist political power structure. The system claims to be on the side of what's good and proper, to be on the side of civilization, but the same system exercises the most brutal, violent, unjust methods imaginable. Much like how Walt always claims that what he does is for Jesse's own good, but towards the end of the show, Walt doesn't even hesitate to have Jesse killed.
Good to go?
Okay, wait.
one point, the Punishment Park Committee
No. There is reasons why he flipped that hard. Jesse had fucked him over in every way at that point.
Mm-hmm.
For good reasons, admittedly, because Walt is an asshole.
I'm not saying otherwise, but there's a reason why he is okay with him dying at that point. It's because Jesse managed to make... This is his greatest defeat, and it's at Jesse's hands.
Yeah. Like, it's very different here because Jesse actively rebelled against Walter compared to this, where it's mostly just like, oh, the government is persecuting people just because they identify as these certain ideals. Like, they did not necessarily rebel against the government is just oppressing them because their viewpoints are not aligned with the government's viewpoints. And this is a very simplistic overview of the situation that Megami Fish is trying to display, which in turn is not coherent to what is present in Breaking Bad.
If it wasn't
by the
for
way,
Jesse...
this isn't the worst Maggie video.
Yeah, we know.
This is like middle of the road, maybe even one of her better ones.
Anyways.
Interrogates a draft dodger, blaming him for not doing what they consider to be his civic duty. But this singular man didn't choose to go to war against Vietnam. The president and war profiteers decided to go to war under a questionable pretext.
Do you know what's going on in the world today? Do you realize what's happening about the Chinese crossing the North Vietnam border and we are now bombing within 5 miles of the border?
They expect this young person to travel to the other side of the world and put his body his life in danger to kill strangers because it serves their interests.
We were just told by the senator the menace that faces us around the world, and here you sit as if this was a picnic. You got handcuffs on, and this is a picnic.
Both Punishment Park and Breaking Bad use the imagery of people shackled in the desert, restrained and deprived of basic comforts, so that the authorities can remain safe and profit off
God,
of
this is like her water is death comparison.
Walt Jr. is one of the more under-discussed aspects of Breaking Bad, particularly the show's exploration of how our bodies are used to determine our usefulness to capitalist society. Walter continually overlooks his own son. He's the last to know that his son has chosen to go by Flynn instead of Walt Jr.
I think I just had an aneurysm.
Under every single political ideology you can think of, the human population, it will benefit the government. Regardless of what political ideology it is, it's not exclusive to capitalism.
Okay,
Yeah,
so
it's actually more in communism than it is in capitalism.
Yeah.
Capitalism is very much individual focused.
Yeah, a bit more so. There's a lot of capitalism hinges on competition between multiple different companies vying to produce and sell similar products. This competition is useful because it gives them motivation to improve that product for the consumer. Communism, on the other hand, eliminates any and all competition under a highly centralized government.
Also, Flynn's disability is very rarely used to devalue him.
Yeah.
It is not used to hinder his character that much.
Yeah, like the only reason why they wrote Flynn to have cerebral palsy is to give us a lot more empathy towards like Walter. Like, oh, he has a pregnant wife and a disabled son. There's a lot at stake here if he doesn't provide for them.
There's like a little bit where Walt's controlling nature gets in conflict with how he's trying to do certain things for himself, like with driving.
Yeah.
But that is about as much as his disability will come into conflict with anything.
Yeah.
Another example is just the fact that they wrote it, I imagine, because of the actor.
The actor does a very good job, yeah.
Well, he actually does have cerebral palsy.
Yeah.
Oh, he does, okay. The way Raptor was talking, I thought he didn't.
Well, the reason why they wrote this character in the first place was to make Walter seem more sympathetic, and then they hired someone who actually had cerebral palsy off of that.
All right, okay.
The guy probably had a dream of acting and got it.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah. So?
He lets Flynn ruin his relationship with Skylar just so that Walt can reap his praise.
You may not love me anymore, but I do.
But even though Flynn continually sided with his father, Walt treats Jesse as the son he never had, the one that is able to help him pursue money and power. Flynn does
not really.
There's
Walt
found
on
family,
numerous-
and then there's this.
Not just that. Walt on numerous occasions tries to tell his son not to be mad at his wife. He tries to calm the waters on numerous occasions. He doesn't actually.
Yeah.
He wants his family to get along. That is one of his main priorities.
Yeah, he wants to have a stable family.
He doesn't actively use the waters to his benefit in that regard.
Yeah, like even in season 5, when he's a little less concerned with having a stable family, he mostly just allows Walt Jr. to say certain things without much intervention. Like, he doesn't really prompt Walter Jr. to say things that will disrespect his mom or anything. Like, they just naturally happen.
Yeah, he has lines.
Also, he does a lot of things for Walt Jr. that he does not do for Jesse.
Yeah.
He actually treats Walt Jr. with a lot more compassion and respect.
Yeah, and when in season 5, he was very much concerned with Walter Jr.'s safety when Jesse was just going was just completely unhinged. and which demonstrates that if it came to Walter Jr. or Jesse, he would rather have Jesse die than his son.
Well, we
which
know
would
that
make
because
sense.
Walt will manipulate Jesse 7 ways to Sunday. He does not do that with his son.
There was one occasion where he manipulated him to not go to like Marie and Hank's place in season 5, but yeah, that's the extent of it, really.
All right, let's continue.
Doesn't fit the narrow confines of what Walt thinks a able-bodied man should be. Walt neglects his own son and puts his life...
What? No. That's a lie. That's not accurate. No.
When does he ever neglect his son? The only reason why he... Yeah, continue.
There might be points you can point to neglect, but there's lots of context around why, and he tries very hard. It's not like an active neglect.
Yeah, it's not active neglect. Like when he was forced to live in his own place, like that's not him like actually neglecting his son. Rather, it's because his wife had a restraining order against him.
Well, not at that point.
Well, I'm talking
didn't
about
have
season
one.
3.
Not even then. She doesn't have one. That's the point. He comes back and she can't do shit.
Yeah, yeah. What I meant to say is that like she essentially just forced him to live somewhere else for a while. But yeah,
She made him sleep on the couch outside in a different street in a different neighborhood that he has to pay for.
yeah, which kind of functions as a restraining order, but doesn't have the legal weight behind one. That's what I should have elaborated a bit more on that.
Mm-hmm. Pretentious and doesn't even compare. Yeah, that's accurate.
Yeah.
in danger, all while using the mirage of a father figure in order to keep Jesse under his wing.
I mean, I'm the one who's the father here.
Just as Jesse's last moments is him finally being free, Flynn's last moment is finally standing up to Walt, finally seeing that Walt's obsession with being the patriarchal figure was putting all of their lives in danger.
What do you mean? He stood up against him in the Ozymandias. This isn't the only time he did so. Like,
also, that's also not accurate because he's doing it because his father's a criminal and lied to him.
Mm-hmm.
That is a complete misrepresentation of that scene.
Yeah, she's taking these micro interactions between individuals and is just expanding upon them on a macro sense, like government versus its own population, compared to this where it's just a family dynamic with its own complex with its own complex forms of context.
Yep.
No, what you did to Mom, you asshole. You killed Uncle Hank. I don't want anything from you.
The inherent ableism in patriarchy and capitalism placing our bodies.
What?
What kind of ableism are you talking about? Walter never made fun of Walter Jr. because of his disability. If anything, he stood up for him because of that disability. Idiot.
What you are saying is asinine.
Hierarchy, depending on how much labor we're able to do, is also reflected in Hank's storyline when he falls into depression, no longer able to walk. Or when Skylar is pregnant and Walt uses her body as an excuse to make even more dangerous decisions, while telling himself that he's acting out of concern for their daughter.
Your sentence even contradicted itself. He wasn't doing this because he's trying to exploit his wife's body. He's doing so to help his daughter. You could, like, even based off your own statement, you contradicted yourself. Unless she believes that the children are always part of the mom's body, which is oh no.
That's some Oedipus crap right there.
Oh God.
Let's not get into incest again. I know that's hard to happen when Dunn's in the room for some reason.
Hey, what can you do?
Why is no one denying that?
Because it's true? Do you think I just said that for no reason?
Because I've had it in multiple of my books, and they like teasing me about it.
Because you have it in multiple of your books.
Yeah.
There's cause and effect there.
I think that made Ness run away.
Oh, I'm still here.
When Gus's partner is executed, Gus being gay is seen as a mark against his manliness, something that must be pruned or trimmed by his business.
It's not. Well, it's up for interpretation. Like
it's not explicitly stated that Gus Fring is gay. It's heavily implied.
Yeah, but there's still enough wiggle room because it wasn't explicitly stated. But
I admittedly have a shitty gaydar, so maybe I just missed it.
Partners in order to be considered more of a man. Our bodies are the final.
He doesn't care about that. He only cares about being a useful asset.
Also,
he's a newcomer. Of course, Donny Galati will be skeptical of him. It has nothing to do with whether or not he even being man enough. Like what?
This has he has zero insecurities.
Also, another problem with that line of thinking is he is muscling in on their territory, and they're trying to send him a message. It has nothing to do with the fact that he's gay.
It's never relevant. To the point where I didn't even realize that was a thing implied.
Yeah, like Gus's partner Max was essentially doing things out of Donny Galadio's control, like making political moves without their agency, and that worried them because they realized, okay, we have to showcase that he does not have power over us, we have power over him, so they shot him. He was unpredictable and uncontrollable, but Gus, he could be molded. Well, so they thought, and Gus wanted them to think that.
There's also a line about about his history in Chile that gave him some protection.
Yeah.
Final frontier of control.
Get a big old raging hard-on at the idea of catching this piece of shit.
Hank's obsession with chasing death is a fascinating contrast to Walt's. Walt is trying to run from his inevitable fate, death from cancer. He's a ticking clock. On the other hand, Hank continually puts himself in deadly situations. At times, you want to grab him by the shoulders and shout, "Why the hell are you acting like?"
Well, both of them put themselves in dangerous situations. The difference is that Hank needs to compared to Walt, who wants to.
Because that's the only way that Walt feels alive.
Yeah.
Like when...
Meanwhile, we see Hank be put in dangerous situations and have basically the opposite reaction. He goes on a fucking spiral.
Yeah, it's not like how Mexico wasn't like New Mexico for him. Oh boy.
Yep.
Like this, Hank. But we know exactly why he's acting this way, don't we? Even when he's at his most irrational. Because we know he's always acting how he thinks a man is supposed to act. And Walt...
No, it's because he's a police officer. Agent.
Doing his job.
He is. I will say, of all the characters, he does somewhat try to act in a sort of how he feels he needs to way in certain scenarios.
Well, that kind of psychology makes a lot of sense if you're involved with any kind of like police officer work, or like the DEA, or any kind of like extended branch of the like a municipal government or any kind of regular government. or like a more federal government, because you need to have that sense of like camaraderie as well as sense of humor while you're doing like very stressful work in order for you to
Maybe.
survive on a day-to-day basis.
Yeah, but Hank is also incredibly prideful about his image to the point where he doesn't. When he gets crippled, he is adamant about nobody helping him, nobody seeing him. There's a little bit of a point there in him wanting to act like a man.
Also, there's there's the point where his wife bets him that she can, like, if she can get
why are
him
you
off,
bringing this up?
he just looks he just looks so angry. He looks like this super smug as she just wheels him out, and he's just like.
Yeah, and that is his biggest character flaw, like, which is him finally becoming a bit more humble. But it's a character flaw that is quite prevalent in a lot of people in his line of work. So, but what's interesting is that he needed to be humble so that he could finally realize that Walter White was Heisenberg, because if you placed a Season 1 Hank in the same situation as Season 5 Hank, when he saw the Walt Whitman journal, he would not have connected the dots, but a humble Hank was, so.
Yeah. Let's keep going.
Walter's twisted view of masculinity, a man's #1 role is to provide for his family, even if that means
Well, how's
putting
that
same family
twisted?
in danger.
Like,
A man provides. And he does it even when he's not appreciated or respected or even loved. He simply bears up and he does it.
To Hank, a man like him is supposed to uphold the law, even if that means breaking the law. He continually disobeys his superiors by going on stakeouts outside of the scope of his work. He acts as judge and jury, carrying out what he believes to be justice. We see this most directly when he assaults Jesse in his own home, out of pure...
He proceeds to then admit he did something wrong. He does not try and break the laws. He tries to find his way to work within the limits.
Yeah, and in this,
he will cross the line.
and this instance was very unique because he was operating purely based off of emotion, because he thought his wife was in serious danger because Jessica called him because Jesse called Saul. And and Hank, who had no idea about this connection, just assumed that, okay, Jesse must have had some kind of access to my phone number to an extent, and is very...
I don't think he thought even that through. He just thought Jesse's the reason. I don't care how.
Yeah, well, as he was punching them, he was screaming like, "How do you know her name? How do you know my phone number?" So.
Yeah, true.
Yeah.
Rage and selfishness. After the cousins ambush Hank...
He did it because Jesse crossed a line.
Yeah, that wasn't selfish. Like,
he thought his wife was in like fatal danger. He has to basically flip from, oh my god, my wife's in the fucking hospital, to, no, my wife's not in the hospital. The person I've been tracking is just fucking got me using my wife.
I mean, yeah, like, it's odd because there wasn't a clip that she could have used earlier on in season 3 of Hank being selfish, which was at the bar where he prompts like a fight to try to exert his like negative emotions, and him just being like very like restrained, mostly very restrained in how he would compliment his buddy Gomi, who had the promotion, and despite the fact that he turned it down. So, but instead she uses the one clip that actually has a very clear whose motive behind her punishing Jesse was not out of selfishness. Like,
he no longer has his job to give him a sense of meaning and masculinity, and as a result, Hank feels useless. He's trapped in a domestic setting, and he dives into buying and studying rocks. The rocks are a symbol of his own hardness. His unwillingness and
Or for
inability
their
to express
minerals,
his own pain.
Maggie.
Hank is
Idiot.
immobile, no longer able to venture out into the wild chasing bad guys. So he brings these symbols of the wild into his home, filling his life with them. Whether as a DEA agent or as a bedridden victim of violence, Hank isn't able to find happiness with his partner Marie, or happiness with his extended
Do
family,
you
or
think
happiness with home.
writers
He's obsessed with
really go that deep into symbolism and all these connections like so many YouTubers seem to think?
Not as
Yeah,
much as
writers
they
are like good
Some.
writers. Yeah, good writers are just focused on thinking, okay, what would the character do in this situation? They're not concerned with grandiose themes or themes that help tie into how these characters originally should develop and what the conflicts would look like and how they overcome said conflicts. But that's all it is. It's broad enough for you to have a lot more creative leeway, but she makes it seem like writing is less focused on like thinking about what characters should do, rather what the plot should force them to do because of symbols and themes, which is awful writing advice.
A lot of it is just by accident. Any weird thematic connections you can make. It's just something that's gonna happen.
Mm-hmm.
You're just writing, and suddenly you're like, that could be a connection. And then you
Yeah.
don't think about it more.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Not always. Some people do some writers do try and do that, but not as many. Especially not for a show like this, where they're partly concerned more about getting certain chemistry right, since they got literal met experts into this.
Well, that was kind of my thing is I'm like, aren't you pushing it a little too far, equating his hobby with bringing the wild into his environment? I mean, yeah.
He probably just decided rocks is a good thing to collect. People collect rocks, right?
I've
It's
got a
probably
rock
just
on my
their
shelf.
I
Yeah,
have multiple.
it's a hobby to give himself some kind of agency in a situation where he doesn't have any agency, and that could have been anything. And they just decide, you know what, minerals would be a good substitute.
Yeah, it makes sense for his character. I can see him being like, you know what, I'm gonna start buying rocks. Let's do rocks.
with pursuing
Rocks
death as
are
a means
pretty.
of doling out righteous punishment.
Yes.
And when he fails that, he becomes obsessed with collecting lifeless objects. He always had trouble relating to other humans, constantly making awkward
What?
racist jokes.
Not really,
Refuses to talk about his
no.
feelings,
Like,
refuses therapy,
Fuck
refuses
off.
to confront his trauma.
Yeah, this is.
He had trouble communicating with a different police department because, one, their culture is different. Two, there was a bit of a language barrier, and three, he was completely outside of his environment. He barely knows anybody here. Of course, he would be struggling. Like,
Here's the thing, though.
Idiot.
Hank's one of the most charismatic characters in the show.
Yeah.
His entire department loves him. He's incredibly outgoing. He tries to pump people up. He tries to cheer Walt up when he still thought he was someone who was all like nervous, shy, and all that. He tries to be supportive. He opens up very little, but that's his personality. He is outgoing and charismatic, but he does not share personal shit.
yeah, and in season 1, 2, was very supportive of both Skylar and Marie and wanted their drama to end.
He's very caring. He will go out of his way to help his family. He always does.
Mm-hmm.
And of course he's gonna feel useless when he is legit in some ways being useless in recovery. He is just on a bed, unable to help or do anything, and is technically being just a drag on his wife because he literally can't do anything. Yeah, he's gonna feel useless. Because to some extent he is.
Even after a miraculous recovery, he dives back into his violent career.
No.
What?
He that's a terrible reading of that situation. He doesn't delve into his violent career. He
doesn't get into the violent parts much.
No,
Yeah,
he just
mostly-
is obsessed with. He's obsessed with getting his hands on Heisenberg, and he figures out, oh, it's my frickin' nerdy as brother-in-law.
Well, not even that. He basically takes a step back from that part of his job because he gets promoted. He gets a desk job.
Yeah.
Which he does not complain about. He is perfectly fine being at a desk job. He doesn't like miss the field work at all, from what I remember. That's not an issue, I believe.
Of course, this time, his fate is final. He's killed and buried out in the desert. Hank has become a part of the very wasteland that obsessed him, his body among the rocks and sand, erased by the desert. In Punishment
What
Park,
is it with
cops
her
behave
and the
similarly to
body
Hank,
thing?
obsessed with their role as enforcers,
Because
as
she
unquestionably
objectifies human
right.
beings.
Whoa, okay. She said that they're
No.
Hank.
Continue. Just
The cops behave similarly to Hank, obsessed with their role as enforcers, as unquestionably right. They seem to believe that they're incapable of being wrong, acting as judge, jury, and executioner.
Oh my
Okay,
god.
so pause.
This is a lie, but continue.
Fuck no. Hank legit has to get into a fucking court case almost because he did something by his own admission wrong when he fucking beats up Jesse. You know, that example I used earlier? He is not a corrupt cop. He is... Oh, fuck you.
He's kind of one of the only moral characters in the show.
It's odd that
That's
she would pick this angle for Hank of all people. Like, heck, you do realize that a corrupt cop was in the show, right? His name was Mike Ehrmantraut.
I guarantee she never picked up on that.
Yeah, because she's an idiot.
He's a male, so he's evil.
I don't have a heart of him. He's got one for everybody. He's got one for the world. So,
Yes,
that's
I
the way he
know.
wants to play. That's the way we'll play.
When the prisoners are able to fight back for their freedom and ambush a cop, they use this
Hello,
self-defense
how's it
as
going?
an
How's
excuse
it going,
to
Game
escalate
Walker?
their
Good to
tactics
see you.
and violence.
There's no doubt about the fact that it will cause more antagonism, and I think antagonism is a very mild word on the part of the men in my command toward these individuals.
It doesn't matter that the prisoners were fighting back in an unfair, unconstitutional, unwinnable game.
Are you expecting to die in the next 2 or 3 days?
I expect to die in the next 2 or 3 minutes.
It doesn't matter that they were defending themselves from an enemy that they knew was trying to kill them from the start.
People are just being killed for nothing, hauled off to jail, hauled off to prison. I mean, feeling. There is no feeling.
Have you ever killed a man yourself?
Yes, I have.
What did you feel about that at the time?
There was no feeling at all.
Where Hank was willing to go outside the scope of his position and disobey his superiors, in Punishment Park, the idea that the law enforcement officers and soldiers will act outside the limits of their assigned roles seemed like a given from the start.
They made their choice. They made their choice. They could have done a lot of things, but they chose to conspire to violently overthrow the government. Fine, that's their choice. They're doing what they want to do. I'm doing what I want to do.
In the desert, there is no oversight, no one to argue for due process or civil rights. During a lunch break, the camera crew films the tribunal members breaking bread with the cops and military. It connects the violence of the law enforcement with their political counterparts, who give them the justification for their violence. The cops may be the enforcer of this perverted justice, but it's by the whims of the council that they are able to carry it out. Gus is an upstanding member of society and regularly lectures about providing for one's family, about supporting the community.
Is this some sort of message? I'm supporting my community.
He offers a reward for information on Hank's shooting. He even brings fried chicken to the cops, casually eating and hanging out with them, just like the tribunal hanging out with the cops in Punishment Park.
What the fuck? First she calls him a bad gay freaking whatchamacallit, and now she calls him a corrupt gay?
Okay,
these connections are laughable.
Yeah, even by what was presented in this video, like, everybody sitting on this tribunal is not trying to have like a mask over their faces. Like, they blatantly believe that, yep, what we're doing is right. Like, they're not trying to hide anything. Gus, on the other hand, hides very overtly. He hides in plain sight because nobody would suspect a drug deal. Well, essentially,
a fast food chain counter.
Yeah. Nobody would expect somebody that would be so heavily involved in the drug business. These are very different reasons as to why these individuals are doing what they're doing. There's no connective tissue here.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yep.
When Gus tells Marie,
Men like your husband are the thin blue line between us and these animals.
We can imagine the tribunal making the exact same declaration about the cops in Punishment Park.
Yeah, essentially these guys are very overt in what they're doing. Gus is very covert.
Yeah. Very difficult job to do. It really is. But somebody has to do it, you know. We do our best.
And all the while, we know that despite Gus's highly civilized words,
Keep the peace. Jackass.
he is as responsible for violence as anyone else, just as the tribunal is as responsible for the violence in Punishment Park as anyone else. It's a violent, hypocritical authority that wants you to do as they say, not as they do. And that's one of the most brilliant aspects of both Punishment Park and Breaking Bad. The way they complicate our
Undersells
traditional...
Gus a bit.
Yeah, that's not how Gus Fring works.
He's a very complicated antagonist, especially due to the fact that there is actually a sense of him trying to minimize violence.
Yeah,
Yeah.
he mainly wants things to run properly. That's his main...
Yeah, he wants things to run like clockwork. He wants things to run under the radar of the DEA, and he wants to essentially achieve his goals without anybody realizing that he's already achieved them. Well, besides that, Donnie Ladio and Hector, because of personal reasons.
He just wants things to run efficiently, and if killing is required for that, he will.
Mhm.
But he doesn't go to that instantly.
Yeah, that's like a last resort. Like it took
It's
a
part of-
lot.
It's
Mhm.
part of why he hates the cartel.
Yeah.
He fucks up the entire cartel because he sees them as animals for how much they're willing to kill and shit. He is a response to them, effectively.
Yeah, it takes a lot for Gus to actually send people out to kill Walter.
He
Like,
doesn't
if you would-
even.
Mhm.
No, you can continue. I'll make my point after.
I was finished. You can continue your point.
He doesn't. He doesn't even try to threaten Walter very much. He tries to give him every opportunity to just agree to stop bothering him. He's like, please
Yeah.
leave me the fuck alone. Part of it is because Jesse will freak out if he kills Walt, but he does seriously try. And Dan has to effectively do the biggest thing he ever threatens, which is, I will kill your family.
Mhm.
And honestly, with how his character is, you genuinely don't know if he's serious. There is a good chance he may have not meant it. We never get an answer on whether or not he's willing to kill children. We never do.
I would agree with that. My thought is he was willing to kill that guy. Like, he killed that guy in front of Jesse and Walter. I'm like, yeah.
He's willing to kill a person. I'm just not sure if he's willing to kill all of Walt's family.
Fair
Like,
enough.
I will kill your infant daughter. Like, even with everything, I am still not sure if he would have gone through on that threat. There's a chance he might have, and there's a chance that was just the way to get Walt to behave.
Yeah, there's enough wiggle room that's left for interpretation.
Especially since Walt's reaction to that is literally to fucking run.
Yeah.
understanding of good and evil, of cop and crook.
At another time, the honorable thing or the right thing to do might be to be a policeman or to be president. Right now, I think the honorable thing to do is to be a criminal.
Both works present us with the painful, complicated realities of modern life, then show us how people in power brush past those realities, substituting them with feel-good fairy tale narratives that only serve the people in power.
There are more color television sets and automobiles owned by black people in the United States than all of Russia together.
So what?
I did it for me.
Yeah, so what?
While Hank's character kept trying and failing to fit into the confines of a particular definition of masculinity, the actress Anna Gunn was harassed because her character Skylar didn't fit within the confines of a particular definition of femininity, the loyal mob wife.
What?
Anna Gunn was playing a character, and yet people had the audacity to put her on trial, to send her death threats because she deviated from
How is this
conventional tropes that they
relevant to
could
your
easily digest.
thesis?
Wait.
Wait,
Okay.
what?
Does
That's
anyone know what
nothing
the
to do
fuck
with the.
Raptor, you're the Breaking Bad nerd expert here. What the fuck is she talking about?
Okay, yeah, Anna Gunn received a lot of complaints by the fans because everybody was just annoyed by her because her character was trying to prevent Walter from continuing on with these very fun, dangerous activities that got audience members hooked. And yeah, those fans in quotation marks are brain dead. Just think that
They got
sent
her in
death threats
court?
to an actress who's just doing her job.
They got her in court?
They did not get her in court. I have no idea how she's using figurative language there.
Okay.
I think it's the court of public opinion.
Yeah.
The only court that matters to this bitch.
Yeah, sounds
Yeah.
about right.
They just wanted the wife to sit by her husband's side. It's so hard to rewatch the show and not side with Skylar. Every time she notices danger or sees through Walt's lies, her worries are confirmed. She's right. Walt is woefully inept at being a drug kingpin. Just as the prisoners in Punishment Park chase the mirage of the American flag, Walt chases
That's
the
not what
mirage
she's
of
right
the
about.
immortal Heisenberg.
That's not what she's right about.
She's
She's
right.
not. You go first.
I was just going to say, she's right about the fact that this is a terrible idea and is going to lead to a lot of bad things.
Yeah. She's right about multiple aspects of Walt's thing, but she's not right about him being incompetent. He manages to pull off a lot of his shit very well. And she's not just correct all the time. Season 2 is the part where she is just being a blatant hypocrite.
Yeah.
She's not a saint like Megan McFish is trying to depict her as. She has an affair, and she, of course, smokes while she's pregnant. Like, she has a lot of flaws, but those flaws are understandable because they, in turn, are used as a coping mechanism to deal with whatever her husband is doing at the time. Because whatever her husband is doing, she feels like she's losing agency of herself, and she is, of course, very filled with anxiety as to what's going to happen with her family, because she's been left under the dark for seasons until the beginning of season 3.
Her most infuriating time is just when she's already agreed to help someone break the law. She immediately gets mad at Walt for doing the same. And that's kind of the point for a long time, is that she clearly needs to learn. She needs to make a line because currently she's being very wishy-washy.
Yeah. Walt inadvertently kind of brushed off against her to an extent, where she's a bit more comfortable in, of course, committing some more tax fraud with Ted Beneke.
She tries to go up against the IRS.
And she manages to outsmart them by playing the dumb idiot.
Yeah. She's good in the role that she plays. As a kind of accountant, behind the scenes person for both Ted Beneke and for Walt. She knows exactly how to play it, how it works, and what's safe and not safe to do. And if Walt had listened to her more, there is a chance things might have gone differently.
Yeah, but
because he does get very reckless.
He does. Especially since he's by season 4, especially he's constantly thinks he's gonna die every day.
Yeah, there's reasons why both of them have the approach they do.
Yeah, they're both very intelligent, just in different aspects.
Yeah. So, what does she say next? We have only...
Even the show itself has become a kind of mirage. It's meaning clouded by consumerism. For years after Breaking Bad ended, you could buy a Heisenberg t-shirt at Kohl's, a product of the same dehumanizing capitalist system that the show was trying to criticize.
That show wasn't criticizing capitalism, you dumbass!
What are you talking about?
It doesn't care about capitalism.
Man, you have to stretch very far to compare the drug world to just regular capitalism. Not specific forms of capitalism. No, all capitalism is like this.
Good lord.
Fucking hell. The show has so little to do with it. It's a character study more than a fucking political allegory.
Yeah, you give an idiot a drop, they'll turn into an ocean.
Someone being obsessed with money does not mean it's about capitalism.
Yeah. Like, look at monarchies, for example.
His obsession with money is very clearly described as to why. Because it's even a point. They ask him, what are you doing this for? The drugs or the money? And he basically makes it clear, I am in this to build an empire. It's not just money. It's that I sold away my fucking right to one of the leading companies in my field. And I am never doing that ever fucking again.
Yeah.
It is a thing that eats... It's one of his biggest flaws in the show. He has a shit ton of resentment. It's where his pride comes from, the big part of it. That bit. That stung.
Yeah, he wants that self-agency. He wants that public recognition for his intelligence. And instead of it being solidified with gray matter, I think it was called, he now wants to create his own empire, to overshadow it, to expand upon it, to essentially be the very best at something that, and be the only person that is capable of creating methamphetamine with a purity rate of 99%, something nobody has ever done before. Like, of course he would pursue an empire.
He just wants to keep going as far as he can. There wasn't a goal. There was just keep getting bigger.
Yeah, even though he did take a break eventually when he got a taste of what being a kingpin was like, just, to lay low a bit, it's very likely he would have just gone back to being a kingpin when he was bored with traditional family life.
Probably.
He more or less admits so.
Very seemingly badass, I am the one who knocks moment, there are countless examples of Walt being cruel for cruelty's sake. And this is one way that Punishment Park pushes its message harder than Breaking Bad. Punishment Park can be hard to watch because it deals
that's
with
not the message of
repression and
Breaking Bad, you dumbass. Keep going, we're almost done. I just need to say that.
Violence in such a blunt way. Looking back 50 years and seeing that we're dealing with the exact same issues that activists were dealing with in Punishment Park can make it feel like we're on some sort of hamster.
Oh boy.
No. If anything, people are coddled worse than they ever have been these days. Take a look at Ray frickin' Judkins.
Maggie, if this was a problem we were facing, you'd be first on that chopping block.
You'd be first one that they would throw in.
In case you're forgetting, the message of the show is about people who are supposedly American or anti-American, and your video is called Debunking the American Dream. What problem do you think you're facing where you can say that?
Yeah.
Yep.
Wheel, running as fast as we can,
he says
not
has
getting
to tie
any
into
closer
modern
to that
politics.
symbol of freedom. But at the same time, watching this movie can be comforting in a way. People have always been able to cut through the propaganda and see the American justice system for what it is. And unlike Breaking Bad, which comes from a fairly narrow point of view, that of a patriarchal white male father figure, Punishment Park offers a lot more diversity of opinion.
POV of the entire story, you dummy.
You idiot.
We do not see everything from his point of view. It's not like a book. We see the character from an outside viewer, for one, and we see it from multiple other characters' point of view. One of which is Skyless.
We even see it through Gus's point of view through a few times.
No,
okay, question. So, because, I still have a shitload of Breaking Bad to watch. So, if Walt's character was replaced by a black man, a black father, I mean, if everything else was pretty much the same, it's just that the character was black, would it change his story substantially?
No.
Well,
Not at all.
that's kind of what, yeah, so she's just throwing white male patriarchy in there because it's, cool.
You can argue
Yeah,
with
it's a buzzword. It's a buzzword to essentially it's like a checklist. She has to say every video to get her fans to applaud her.
Mm-hmm.
You could argue it would. Like, yeah, it's not going to change anything. It'll just be another thing for circumstance.
Mm-hmm.
The structure of Punishment Park makes it much, much harder to misinterpret. A big reason for this is that Watkins saw one of his earlier films, Culloden, as a failure, and tried to correct those mistakes with his later films. Culloden tackled important issues about war and societal privilege, but Watkins addressed the film's shortcomings when he said, although the film does affect us all, and I think all of us can see ourselves in the faces of those people at the time, I think there's a mental loophole so that you can also say that you don't. It just sits at that edge of the definition where a white middle-class liberal, and in fact a broader area even than that, can sort of indulge in the cathartic exercise of looking at something, getting a kick out of it, washing his guilt off, and then getting on with the dishes afterwards. And many like to point out that, similarly, Better Call Saul also does a better job at tackling the same themes found in Breaking Bad. So when we watch a politically charged film like Punishment Park,
But then she doesn't
or a culturally
elaborate on that
relevant
at
TV
all.
show like Breaking Bad, as an audience we have to ask ourselves, do we learn something from it and use that knowledge to affect change in the real world? Or do we just binge it, and when the screen goes dark, get on with doing the dishes?
Awful Werthers, you never leave.
Well, that's better than misinterpreting it
Continue.
entirely.
Pause it.
I
We
hope
don't
you
need to
enjoyed today's
torture ourselves
conversation.
more. She's not going to say anything worthwhile. She never did, but we don't need to torture ourselves more.
That hurt my brain.
Yeah, it does. But I still go back to okay, sometimes I like to watch stuff that makes me think and be introspective and, has significance, whether it be cultural or politically or emotionally. But sometimes I just want to watch a fucking good movie about a dude with cancer who starts making meth and shit happens.
For a while, the direction you were going with that is I like to watch things that make me think, and watching her video, you need to make up for her lack of thought.
Mhm.
Think for yourself about what she's saying.
I really think what Maggie does is, and like Kai said, this one is very mild in comparison to, wow, a lot of the shit that comes out of her mouth. But
Why are you?
I have noticed lately that just not only with YouTubers or whatever, a lot of different types of content and even just conversations on different servers, it's like people, to me, sometimes try way too fucking hard to be pretentious and deep and make connections and find hidden messages and Easter eggs and blah blah, and it's like, what? No.
Well, something I've actually noticed is a lot of us, at least in my generation, were raised with movies like spy movies. James Bond, Spy Kids, shit with codes and hidden meanings that were absolutely stupid.
What about Spy Kids had any Spy Kids?
Spy Kids
I don't
was
think.
fucking stupid.
Yes, 100%. That's why you watch it.
Yeah, Robert Rodriguez is not a smart filmmaker. He makes fun movies that are really stupid.
And
I don't
sometimes
think
that's all you need.
Indeed, I would definitely agree with
goofy
that.
as fuck. All four of them, funny as fuck.
Oh yeah, they're definitely funny as fuck. I should rewatch them sometimes.
Honestly, I wouldn't be surprised if he wrote that while on crack.
Mhm.
With some of the
But
shit that he has in it.
Yeah, I think the main reason why a lot of people aim very hard to be this pretentious is because it makes themselves look smarter than they actually are. It's a very quick way to make yourself seem smarter than you actually are, and it's very easy to tear down those pillars that they created them for themselves. When you actually realize the content that they're actually discussing.
Mm-hmm.
Like Maggie, at best, probably watched or like read through synopsis of Breaking Bad very passively, and then just generated a script to somewhat shoehorn it in with another script that she already made about Punishment Park, and try to find all these connections between Punishment Park and Breaking Bad when there weren't any at all.
Mm-hmm.
Well, just kind of like the whole water theme. Okay, so on the surface of it, I hate you guys. I do not do puns. I fucking hate you. Okay. Anyways, on the surface of it, you could look at like some of the things she was talking about and go, yeah, in certain situations that might actually kind of be a neat thing to be talking about. How, like, somebody entered the pool as a baptism into a new way of thinking or a decision made or whatever. But when they're not applicable, then it just is like, yeah, you're trying way too hard. And quite often, I really don't think the creators or the writers or the directors or whomever really looked at it that hard, unless they actually kind of came out and said that they did. Then I think it has meaning. Otherwise, it's just you as an audience member going, oh, I wonder if they actually did it for that reason, or if it's just me utilizing my own, life experience to apply importance to that,
Yeah,
It's
like
that meme with English class of, it's just a fucking red door.
Yeah.
It's just a door.
Yeah,
There's no deeper meaning.
Yeah, like universally speaking, or at least like confined to North American media, water, it does represent positive change. It like a baptism, so to speak. However, that has to.
Tolkien. It's a very big thing in Tolkien. Gold is often used as the something corrupting influence, and he even at one point said that gold is Melkor. If any attribute was Melkor, or any element was Elkor's, it would be gold.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and yeah, there's nothing wrong with symbols in their own right. It's just I think English classes place way too much emphasis on it. It's cool. It's neat to know, and you could perhaps implement that into your own writing and occasionally catch it a few times. But a lot of people make it seem like symbols are like the backbone of storytelling, which it's not. It's merely supposed to present what's already present in a different light.
Agreed. Like an example would be, I think theme is pretty much third on the list of important things to have in a story.
Mm-hmm.
The most important is character, and then plot, and then theme.
Yeah.
Because without a good plot, the theme falls apart.
Mm-hmm. And people are so obsessed with symbols that it's now being influenced into how people write characters. Like, the characters are literally embodiments of, things that they've been taught and think are things that we should like learn from to better ourselves in a more preachy sense. Like, these. Mm-hmm.
We've unfortunately reached a point where that pretentiousness is what's being taught in some places.
Yeah.
There's classes dedicated on that shit who are being taught by those very people who keep preaching that shit.
Yeah, like people like Magma Fish don't just come up with this mindset on their own. It's manufactured. Like
Yeah.
there are so many different Maggie May fishes out there. She's not as unique as she thinks she is.
They went to a writing or arts class that was teaching this and proceeded to be crazy about it.
Yep.
Well, I actually see that a lot with fans of Wheel of Prime, where they read so much into everything, to justify, the direction the show goes or whatever. And it's just like, okay, you're coming in behind the fact, trying to suggest that the writers were actually more intelligent than they were in some cases, right? And just, I don't know. I think that's a pet peeve of mine right now.
It's a pet peeve for all of us, I think, because I'm in a school which probably does pamper the little snowflakes and creates the same people who like that show. So I can kind of say with a little bit of experience that, yeah, they are fucking morons.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so, was the intro true, Ness?
What the fuck is going on?
Everything they said was true, remember? That's how you were...
Everything they said was true.
Yeah, no, not everything, but pretty much everything.
Well, see, Ness, this was an extremely mild stream.
Which means there is more that she has yet to see.
Oh god, why must you torture me more?
Because that literally is,
his existence.
What life in this community is all about.
Pretty much. Everybody here is a sadist and a masochist. Well,
Yeah,
okay.
We haven't showed you the video about the dark side in Star Wars as representative of women on their periods.
Oh god.
Oh my, no, I'm not watching that.
It was, yeah. I don't even think I saw the whole thing. I came into that late, and I think I was watching. I don't even think I was in the stream on that one. I can't remember, but wow.
Why do you
apophenia at its finest?
That was a suggestion by a guy named Gary Stew. It was quite amusing, to say the least, to watch White yell in anguish.
Mm-hmm. That's always amusing for you.
Because it's hilarious.
This is what I mean when he's a sadist, and the rest of us are also sadists except Raptor.
Good lord.
Well, you can make Ness laugh. Okay, I will suggest, I don't know, do we have how about like a funny, what the hell are they? Damn it. Thank you. I couldn't think of studio. Like we are approaching the holidays.
I think your vape has succeeded in its effects.
What?
Like the Hobbit's leaf.
So I think that since it's the Christmas season, it is only appropriate that we should do
So the Santa one.
Santa's worst present ever.
This is what you've shown us.
This is the perfect present.
Well, I know how much you hate trying to barbecue outside, what with us living in the frigid north and all.
You're so thoughtful.
Oh.
Now, open your present.
Oh, all right.
You are?
See what's we have here. Oh, what could this be? It's the
A paint roller.
You keep saying how you want me to paint the kitchen, and now you can do it.
If looks could kill,
There's also a gift card in there so you can buy the paint. And if
you know
there's
what
any
makes
money
this
left
funnier?
over and you want to get us a new power
Look at
saw,
Santa and think of done, and it's accurate.
What's wrong, dear?
I give better gifts than this guy.
Of course something's wrong.
Huh?
Sometimes.
Honey, you always get me the worst gifts.
I'm sorry, what?
I mean, we're talking hundreds of disappointing Christmases.
Are you kidding me right now? I'm Santa Claus. My name literally means best gift giver ever.
It literally means Saint Claus.
Tomatoes. I've built my life on this. Every gift I've gotten you was golden.
Every gift? A dustbuster?
You love cleaning.
Homemade coupons for free hugs?
You love hugs.
Batman and Robin?
Okay.
You love the $5 bin at Walmart.
Unbelievable!
I'm sorry, okay? I get
would
letters
love a
all
gift
year
of
long
Batman and
from
Robin
children
because
who
that
tell
would
me
be hilarious.
exactly what they want. With you, though, it's always subtle hinting.
Was I subtly hinting that I wanted to take part in your stupid love language experiment last year?
I've already admitted that was a terrible idea.
I have it right here. Oh, here it is. You are the most beautiful woman in this, the most desolate place on earth.
Oh.
So to be clear, your language is not words of affirmation.
Nicholas!
Fine. Point taken. I guess I'm just the worst husband ever. Despite being immortal, owning a fleet of flying reindeer, oh, and filling every child in the world with unspeakable joy.
You need to watch your tone, okay? You are always so irritable Christmas mornings. You're like Chris Cranky.
I just ate 12 billion cookies and I'm coming off the craziest sugar high you've ever seen. Not to mention the elves are unionizing. Of course, I'm Chris Cranky.
Blah, blah, blah. My life is so hard working 1 day a year.
A 24-hour day.
And yet, with 364 days off, you still can't find a better gift for your wife than a Home Depot gift card.
I don't need this. I'm going sledding with Blitzen.
She's got a point.
I'm sorry. I didn't... Sweet gingerbread. I almost forgot. I got you another present this year. It's a bathroom scale. I'm going to go sleep in the workshop.
Christmas because Santa Claus is dead. He was fed to his reindeer.
Oh no.
Urban spaghetti, never forgetty.
There's a bunch of other ones like what is it? The writing the Ted Story Nook. I really love that one.
Oh, wait a minute. Because I just realized, because Megan May Fish referenced Better Call Saul, is she going to make a follow-up video featuring Better Call Saul?
Let's hope not.
Oh, God.
She's kind of gone out of that type of phase. I kind of do want to watch more of her more recent stuff to see. It's mostly her more recent stuff. Like Tim Curry's Eggman is Elon Musk.
There's something so fucking wrong with you.
Yes.
This one was bad. This one was really, really bad. John Hamm Can Sell You Anything behind the performance. I'm interested to see that. Tar on Time. I don't even know what that's about. Is Off the Grid Lifestyle a Lie? Why is Clint Eastwood? The Violent History of Hollywood Strikes. I'm interested to see how she misconstrues that. This one I'm also interested to watch. This one was pretty bad.
I hate how you seem to just... When do you watch these?
Smudcast about a year or two ago.
I think he just has a good memory.
Yeah,
No.
seen this
For
one.
certain things.
This one was really, really awful.
Move your mouse away from it.
Yep.
My octopus teacher? What the fuck?
Oh, that one was really weird. Yeah. Horror of Humanity's Hubris. Yeah, we need to finish. I need to finish that. Smudcast only got through halfway through before they decided to quit. And they watched the 50-minute Fight Club video. And
Why
the
do you think
58
we'll finish it then?
and the
Who do you think's gonna
58-minute Cats video.
No. You're banned from that.
Why?
We're not gonna put furry shit on. No. Put it away.
Oh my fucking god, I am not staying this long.
Put it away.
No, I'm just gonna do the first couple of minutes. Or the first
No, the first couple of minutes are going to turn into a few 10 minutes, isn't it?
Speaking on Elliot is a difficult matter, for he is long and gone and can't pen a rebuttal. And
got
being a
one
catch,
video,
in
that
my
was all you
opinion,
got.
even
Put it
matter,
away.
though he made claims about us that weren't even
Put it
subtle.
away.
We're white and we're black and we're medium-sized. We're three-named and blind.
None,
and
I know you're
possess
into
two
animals, but this cannot
But
get
did
you
Elliot
on.
ask a cat
Please,
how we
put it away.
self-identify? I am but a cat. I have but one name, and all of them mine, not for human eyes. And if Elliot so boldly
Please go back to the sheep. Don't watch this.
allow a cat to rebuttal with my thoughts
Yeah, hold
on
up.
his eyes.
Ness said, hold up. Pause. What is it, Ness?
What the fuck? Don't bring sheep into this either. Come on.
Oh god.
No.
This is lore.
I know this lore.
Have I told it to you?
Yes. It's one of the first things you did.
Really? Damn.
Yeah.
Look, I was willing to say anything to get him to close the fucking video.
I don't know. White Swipey Poo was looking pretty hot as a cat.
Oh no.
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 I know you don't think that. She managed to actually portray the creepiness of cats completely accurately. She could fit right in.
Now I know Ness wants to cosplay as that, right?
Fuck no. I'd rather cosplay as some wizard in the deep or something that hides my face.
I think you would rather dressing up as a WAP character.
Actually, yes. Yes, I would. Very much rather dress up as a WAP character than that.
I think that most people would rather dress up as a Wapila Prime character than that.
You say that. There are furries. They probably love that.
Oh no.
Probably not most people. But I don't know how many furries exist in the world.
Yeah. But yeah, that's Maggie May Fish.
Right. This was both this was an introductory for two types of hell. One was you. The second was Maggie May.
And this was actually same. We haven't even gotten to the really bad things.
Oh yeah, she's experienced like no torment. This is so low on the torment scale. It's not even fair. I never got that consideration.
Love you too.
You also just didn't say no enough.
Who, me?
Trip.
No, Trip. Trip allowed herself to be tortured with that crap.
Well, it's usually because I lost a bet.
Yeah, like a... Oh, I still need to watch
Fuck
Kirk
off.
Saving Christmas with
Fuck
you.
off. You still need to do a dance, don't you? Have you been practicing?
No.
Uh-oh.
I just know how to do it. I can do it. It's not that hard.
You need to do it well, or you're going to have to repeat it.
This is lore.
What's this dance you speak of?
Is it the
We don't need to
Sarasara?
speak of the specific dance. We don't need to mention what specific dance. There's just a
Yes,
dance
we do.
done-
I can watch it again. It's actually good. It really is
never
good, Ness. But
I
keep in
assumed it's-
mind, if you do not meet a certain level of expectation, you'll get to redo it in a Speedo.
That
This
was
is-
never
no.
agreed upon, and I did not.
No. You're trying to- it was never agreed upon, but you're trying to get your way out of the bet by being like, I'll just do it however. No, you have to do it, or you have to repeat it. Speedo or Speedo not required.
Come on, show the dance.
Well, hopefully I don't get copyright hit.
Oh, I forget we're live.
You can just click.
Yeah, that might copyright you.
Yeah.
Well, wait. We can mute
It
it.
is Ness. Have you ever seen crap? What was the name of the movie?
In and Out.
With Kevin Kline.
When in doubt, no.
No, In and Out.
In and out, no.
Well, look up or have Shy show you. I don't. What's the title of the YouTube video on that?
And it'll also be you do it.
Kevin Kline In and Out dance probably would find it for you. It's really hilarious and it's really good.
All right, fine. I have YouTube open.
So get
I can
on
mute
that.
my mic. Don't worry.
What was the deadline for that dance? That
I don't know that we put a deadline on it because I've been
feel like-
such a moody bitch lately.
We also need to figure out how to get Brian to get Nathan and Prophet to read the John Borman script.
Yeah, well, I told you I was working on that, and then you pissed me right the fuck off, and that went bye-bye for a while.
And
You're
probably
going to have to re-talk me back into that one.
Do you really want to make Steve suffer? I know you like
Yes.
seeing him rage. I wasn't talking to you. I know your answer.
Oh, I adore making Steve suffer. Where the fuck have you been?
You cruel, cruel person.
Life is cruel.
I'd warn him, but I also know he will go right headlong into it.
Oh, he's already been warned. They have all
Really?
been warned because they were, what the hell were they trying to make me? Oh, now I don't remember. What the hell were they trying to make me watch again?
That's my boy.
Yes. That's what. So see, that's part of the thing. I'd have to watch that to get them to do a John Borman stream.
I would suggest you don't do that.
With them. Oh my god.
I feel like if someone wants to get that Storm Borman thing to happen, it better be from Done Suffering. As
I
the one-
noticed they were watching what the hell, Lady Ballers earlier.
They were. I
have no desire to watch that.
No,
What's
know what
that?
that is.
Dane liked it, which already gives me some alarm bells.
Lady Ballers is I don't. It's a new series that I think you have a team of, I don't know what sport they're playing. Probably like, I don't know, volleyball or maybe soccer or something or other. So it's a group of guys that pretend to be trans so that they can play against women and beat and destroy them.
Damn.
Well then.
I mean, it's a comedy, I think, somewhat in the lines of
White
Ben
Chicks.
Stiller. Well, yeah, that, and then also, Dodgeball. I think is kind of that. It's aiming towards that, and given the actors that are in it, I'm quite sure it probably has some very funny moments in it. But Yeah, I don't know.
I don't know.
Pandaverse was funny though.
It was very funny.
South Park
Okay, that would
often
take
is.
a lot of practice to do. You have a hell of a task ahead of you.
Better get on it, done.
Oh, she watched the dance. Isn't that fantastic?
It is actually pretty good. Hell of a song for that, too.
Yes, exactly. And Kai thinks he can just do it competently just 'cause.
Dude,
I'm a pretty good dancer.
Complicated shit and just dance.
Sure. Well, maybe we need to have a judge, neutral party, to help vote on whether or not you succeed.
Oh no, you gotta time me into this.
It could be you.
Well, you just volunteered, didn't you?
I guess we're gonna just gonna have this be a council.
Oh no!
Yeah,
Fuck,
that-
I'm dragging into it anyway.
That's
Yep,
part of the
we're gonna
plan.
get Ness into this
Yeah.
as well. All four of us here will vote on whether or not Dunn succeeds.
That'll be very entertaining.
After all, I might actually be the only person who's ever actually danced on a stage in front of people. Here.
I have.
You have? Alright. Second
Yeah.
person.
I have as well.
Does dancing on a table count?
No.
Oh
Well,
god.
wait.
Okay.
Table in, like, a huge party?
At a bar?
Then no.
No. Everyone's drunk. No one's expecting proper decorum there.
Also, I don't believe you, Dunn.
I've danced on stage.
I don't believe you.
Why not?
Because you're you. Where and why?
Teen acting camp.
How many people were you dancing in front of?
20.
Okay, when I meant in front of people, I meant over 100.
Yeah, I still qualify.
Oh god, here we go.
You didn't specify. You just said on stage in front of people.
You better learn to dance real fucking quick, bucko.
Well, part of it is I plan to have the thing playing as I'm doing it, so I'm going to be replicating the movements.
That's literally what dancing is, you dumbass! What the fuck do you mean?
Oh god, somebody's been into the cola.
Yeah, somebody
Several
has been
hours
into
ago.
cola.
I've said so several hours ago, about several hours ago.
Oh, yeah. Yeah,
what
you're
difference
right.
do you mean? I'm gonna have... What do you mean I'm gonna have the music on and then just replicate the moves? That's the goal of dancing. It's quite difficult at times.
It can be. I don't think this case will be that difficult.
Alright, let's...
I'd put it at a medium difficulty.
Ness, can you give me the link?
Well, how are you going to replicate the doing it in the doorway?
Actually, yeah, that
dancing.
doesn't really show much.
Yeah, I knew this is the one that you meant, the one with the funny narrator.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you, Ness. I
There you
already
go.
found it though. Let me just speed through this real fucking quick.
Oh,
You've
God,
seen it?
Yeah.
I've seen it. I'm refreshing myself. Let me see what he actually does dance-wise. I remember the narrator mostly. That was very
Yeah, the
funny.
narrator's hilarious.
The moves are not terribly complicated.
Uh-huh.
It's
Alright,
about
you have to grab your crotch.
It's about 30. Okay, so it's about 40 seconds.
Yeah, but the whole point is you need to do the dance and you also need to convince me that you're gay when you're doing it.
Wait,
that
hold on.
was
I never heard that bit.
That was not part of it. You're keeping adding stuff.
I am not, because that's exactly what he's doing in the dance. That's his attitude. He's obviously gay. That's the point of the whole entire movie. Has not come out of the closet yet, so that's what that entire scene is about, is self-awareness. So that's part of the dance. You have to do the dance like Kevin Kline does it.
So yeah, you have to do the dance well, first off, which means you're gonna have to use energy. And I would probably suggest you wonder where the fuck you're doing it, because you might want to figure out where the fuck you're going in the room, because he travels a bit.
Yeah, he really does.
And regardless, you're gonna want to do it a few times, because even simple dances, you normally are gonna need to do it a little bit so you'll remember the steps. Unless you want to watch the video while you're doing it, which will not look good. Because you're gonna have to keep watching and seeing what the fuck he's doing, and that'll probably make you stutter. In which case, means a repeat. I'm giving you some helpful advice as someone who occasionally is forced to dance.
I'm thinking just watch it a bunch of times.
Yeah, okay.
You know what?
See.
Go do that.
The main thing is that Trip is entertained, and if I spaz through it, she will still be entertained. Is that
You
more
have
accurate?
to do it well.
And if you don't, I hear there's threats of a Speedo.
Please, please, fail. It will amuse me greatly. It'll amuse me greatly that you had to be humbled and do it again.
Well, it could always be a mankini over his garments.
Oh, God, no.
Well, does he have to wear the Speedo over his magic underwear? He can't remove that.
You don't understand the garment at all. We do go swimming, and there are Mormon women who will wear one-piece bathing suits, and there are even some that will wear bikinis.
You're talking to someone from a family that does also have their own magic garment, quote unquote.
This is also true. Well, I think that we can fairly simply call this a night.
He's retreating. The dancing was too much.
No, I'm being summoned by my family who are going out for a treat, and I'm hungry.
Oh, you're hungry.
Oh no.
Yes, I ate half a pizza. I'm still starving.
Okay, that's not so fair.
I've only had a pizza since work. And that was before I even got on a call with Nest, not just get in here.
Yeah, I was torturing him for a bit.
Nice. I've had very little food.
Oh, hey, don't growl. You're not a dog.
That wasn't a growl, that was a groan.
Yeah, okay. Retards with ribbons.
Good ribbon. Fuck off.
All right. We will call it good for this evening, everybody.
Okay.
Thank you all for coming. Adios.
Adios, everyone. Goodbye. Good night.
Enough. Kill me. Just end it.